So you can see what date it is. It's Tuesday. It's the next day after the flight that I lost all visual ability to steer the craft. If you can imagine trying to fly an airplane, now you've got no radar controls. It's not like landing at an airport with a radar system guiding you in through the fog. It's like you got to steer this thing through your own eyesight. So having no visual system to monitor it yesterday was a little bit panicky for me. So today I decided to, instead of flying it with my cell phone, I decided to fly it with my iPad. And that's what I'm doing here, and it worked out really well. I'll just bring you to the climax of the story right off the bat. It worked beautifully, so I'll be probably using the iPad from now on. I'm flying really fast. This is about 3 times the actual speed. I can't remember, maybe it's 4 times. I change the speed when I edit it. That's also where I add the voice. So anyway, I bring it down to just normal speed as I fly into the Mallows wheat field and pond and property. I am about, I'd say, 300 feet up, and for some reason I do not understand. Maybe it's something with the automatic light sensing, but it got very dark, and that doesn't quite make sense to me. Then it lightens up and everything goes okay again. So I don't know what that was. It happened when I turned the camera straight down, so that may have something to do with it. Now we're approaching the stream again, and I want you to take a look at the angle that the trees' shadows make. Look at the shadows of the trees and notice the direction that I am flying. Boom. Obstacle avoidance. This is what I was afraid would happen yesterday, and it didn't. I was flying about a half an hour later yesterday than I was today, which may have made a difference. Anyway, the only way to get out of that is to turn the aircraft or the drone so that it is not facing the sun. And obviously with the shadows now, you can see that I'm not facing the sun anymore. Although I'm a little worried as I come over the skinny dipping area that I'm going to run into another reflection, but I don't. It's fine. Okay, so at this point I decide to, since I have control of it and I have visual sight to steer by, I decide to take a different route home. I decide to go up by the beaver dams. So if I follow this stream, there are 2 streams that come together there at the skinny dipping area. And so I'm going to follow one of them, and this will take me all the way to Dogtown Road. But the reason I'm following this is I want to see if there are any beaver dams left over from last year. And I think I overshoot them. I think there's one right there, and at least one, and then another one right there. Okay, now I zoom in. Okay, it's very difficult to see them from this altitude, even with the zoom, but you can see what I'm talking about. Also, one indicator that there might be a dam there is that the stream gets larger. In fact, it even pools up. Look at that. Look at how thick the stream is. So I'm pretty sure that's a good indicator that there's a beaver dam there, or at least one, probably 2, maybe 3. Matt has actually seen the beavers. Not this year, but in previous years he's seen them. So now we're going to take a subsidiary stream up to Dogtown Road and to George's Mess. That's his triangle right there. And I was going to suggest that Matt take the money that he got from the stimulus check and buy one of George's vehicles, so he'd have some transportation. And then I learned from Matt's mother that George will not sell any of his vehicles to anybody. So that white roof was Matt. And I'm going to test the automatic landing here. So I fly out into the field, and I bring it down to about 200 feet, and then I click the return to home. Boom. As soon as I click it, it flies back home. That blue dot at the end of the driveway is where I launched from. So it's landing by itself. It's doing a good job of landing by itself, except at some point it says this is not a good place to land. And I think it said that because of the branches of the trees. So I had to say, I think right there, that's where it asked me, do you want to force a landing? And so I clicked yes, force the landing. So from here on out, it's on its own. It's very well clear of the trees, obviously. So it lands a few inches from where it took off, all by itself. And thank you for watching.